Hey guys, welcome to the channel. My name's Jason, and in this video I'm going to go over the real, raw, honest truth of what it's like to brutally transform your life from alcoholic, and I hate that term, to someone who's now 5 years sober. And I just want to hop on here and just share my story. Every day was just getting worse. The hangovers, the brutal headaches, the utter disgust I had of myself when I woke up in the morning and tried to work out the sheer amount of units I drank the day before. I don't know what I was chasing. I was looking for that initial tipsy buzz you get and just following that. Some kind of escapism, perhaps. But I would just do that every single night until I blacked out. You wouldn't look at it from the outside, but internally my life was a total mess. The anxiety, the crippling panic attacks, my relationship was just about clinging on, my self-respect completely in the gutter, and work. Yeah, I turned up. That was about it. Felt like everything was just on a precipice, a knife edge. I was losing my grip. It felt like just one more slip up and I could totally ruin everything. I've gone from being arrested for drink driving, waking up in a prison cell 3.5 times over the limit, teetotaling my car, to completely doing a 180 on my life. I now live a life of purpose. I'm actually happy and content. I've got routine. I've improved my relationships by being present. I've started side hustles, fixed my finances. I've got jacked, I've got absolutely ripped. And I've done strongman competitions, I've done half marathons, I've got a whole marathon booked this year. I've exceeded my expectations in my head chef job. Like, everything has improved. And I just want to show you guys what is possible if you actually start. It's never too late to make your own comeback story. Now you know a little bit about who I am, let's get into the video. And if you wait around till the end, I'll show you what actually worked in terms of me getting sober. And there's just one thing I forgot to mention. I'm a dad, so I want to be a role model and an inspiration to my young boy. Right, my story. I think it sort of begins in my teenage years. Now, my dad has always been a bit of a drinker. He drank quite a lot of strong beers, most days, if not every day. And I don't know whether that has an impact growing up, like seeing that and being around that, whether that has some kind of psychological impact or whether there's something genetic there. I don't really know, but I remember seeing that quite a lot and it's fairly prevalent. Like, it's never like nasty or anything, it's just kind of there. That's kind of what he did to unwind. And then I, myself, was so shy. I was so socially anxious, scared about saying the wrong thing, scared about putting myself out there. I ended up just being quite robotic. And as soon as I discovered alcohol, and I thought it could transport me into like a James Bond type suave figure, that's why I sort of started going with it. I thought it'd just be a bit of escapism from me. It might help me maybe get some girls in my younger teen days or something like that. But I remember just going to a few parties and sort of drinking. Didn't really like the taste of any of it. It's kind of one of those things where you've got to force yourself to like it. I remember making like mixers with Coke and half beer. They're absolutely rank, but I forced it down to get a buzz because I quite enjoyed the buzz. I liked being a bit drunk and just not being myself for a bit, just being, I don't know, a bit free. But even back then, when I look at it, I had an all or nothing mindset. Like, I'd just drink, there'd be no limit. So I think all along I could either have like no beers, one beer wouldn't be enough, it'd be all the beers, or whatever the drink was. And that sort of continued for a bit. I'd go to a few parties, and then I ended up going to uni, and then sort of being away from home and having a bit of freedom and free money in the terms of like a loan. So it's not free, but it felt like a wad of cash at the time. And I just went a bit mad, loads of nights out, loads of just drinking. And I think that's maybe when I started just drinking by myself a bit to negate some of the effects of like hangovers. So I'd just be sit in my sort of dorm room by myself, having a few beers, playing Counter-Strike just to numb the pain of the night before. Yeah, and all of my friends would probably say the same. Like, I'd be the one getting the shots, I'd be the one buying more rounds, I'd be the one trying to keep the party going, I'd be the one taking it to the next level. Always me trying to push the boundaries. I don't know why, whether I just wanted to get people on my level or what. I don't really know exactly what my problem was, but yeah, just at that point, I think for me, I thought it was the gateway to getting girls and just being a bit confident for a bit. But most of the time I just end up in a slurred mess. Either say something wrong, piss some people off. Luckily I never got beaten up, I never really got in a fight, which was quite good considering the amount of states I got myself in. There's a lot of the times I had no idea how I got home. Like, no recollection at all. I'd wake up with like maybe a number down my arm, or I'd wake up with like a few cuts and bruises, and I'm just like, what the hell? How did this happen? Bear with me, I'm going through a bit of a few trees here. Ooh, right. Yeah, it's been raining and I made the mistake of wearing flip-flops whilst I'm taking my dog for a walk, but we will progress, we keep going. So yeah, that's sort of my early teens and early 20s of just sort of drinking. Nothing bad really happened at this point. I felt like I was just another British lad just going out, going on the sauce. That's what we do. Drinking culture in the UK is such a big thing. Like, if you don't go out and get drunk, you're painted as a bit of a weirdo. It's just, yeah, a lot of, I don't know, weird social pressure. So then I ended up getting a job as a chef, and that's kind of where things really start to take a turn. You've heard all the sort of cliches about chefing and everything like that, and it is more or less pretty much true. You work really hard, and then you party really hard. And then I met a couple of chefs at this point who made drinking look really cool. They were very charismatic all the time, and then they'd drink every single day without fail, but they'd have so much energy, and I kind of wanted that. I wanted that charisma, I wanted that energy, but things just took a bit of a turn. I just started drinking more and more, going out more and more. At this point I was living in like a little coastal town, and it's very sheltered. I felt like a lack of opportunities, a lack of women, a lack of everything. So I just got a bit more and more annoyed at my situation, like just being a bit of a victim, being like, oh, I can't believe I grew up in this little shitty town. Oh, I can't believe I'm stuck here. Can't believe all my friends have gone off and done other things. So they'd all be out doing stuff, and I'd just kind of be stuck here, back at home, with not many options. So I just started drinking more and more, and then the parties would get worse and worse and worse. And it's kind of about this point where I just kind of went off the rails a bit. This is when I got done for drink driving. I was at a party. Well, not really a party, I was out having some drinks with some people, and then it just escalated. Ended up having turbo Jaeger bombs. So you've got vodka in the Red Bull around the outside, plus the Jaeger. God knows how many of those I had. But I ended up getting in my car, I have no recollection of it, crashing it into a public electrical, I don't know, box or something. And then I disappeared for a bit and came back, and then the police were there. They were like, is this your car? And I was like, yeah, I am fucked. And that's the first thing I said that they read back to me out on court. So the whole thing was just an absolute disaster. 3.5 times over the limit. They took me to a police cell, and they wouldn't let me out the next day because I was so drunk. They had to wait for me to sober up. So the whole thing was just an utter embarrassment. Like, that was one of my first rock bottoms, and you'd think something like that would be enough to stop me drinking, but it wasn't. Oh, and the other thing as well, I was wearing flip-flops when I was driving, so maybe that's a common theme here. And I left them in the car, so I was just wandering around a police cell with no shoes, just barefoot. So yeah, just weird. And now without my driving license in the car, I just kind of went completely mental, if I'm totally honest. I was like, oh, well, this is typical, happens to me. I'm stuck here, pity party, all that kind of stuff, all the self-loathing. I went mental, sort of just drinking more and more and more, dabbled in like a few random legal highs and like benzos and things like that, and just went completely crazy, just self-destruct mode at this point. I remember just, I don't know, because I was living in a caravan in my parents' garden at this point. I'd broken up with a girlfriend, and I was like, right, to save money, I'm going to move back home, move into a caravan. I put that in the parents' garden. But that was just more and more entrapment for me. It just felt like I was just stuck. And then I just kept going out more. I remember coming back, just really drunk, maybe slightly high on something, and just smashing up my caravan. I think my dad was just like, you're just disappointment. What have you done with your life? So I just went mental, just started punching up this caravan till all my knuckles bled. So yeah, it's just a lot going on. And then this would happen for a while. There'd be lots of little wake-up calls. I rolled another car after having 4 pints of beer. This one, I did like a proper James Bond style barrel roll. Almost killed myself. and then ended up running through the woods to get back to work so they couldn't find me at the car. And you'd think that would be another wake-up call for me to stop, but nah, just kept going. And then it just kept getting progressive. It'd take more and more for me to get drunk, more and more for me to escape. And that's kind of over the course of 10 years. And by about 2017, 2016, the panic attacks and the anxiety just started kicking in. Like, it's brutal, absolutely brutal. It just, I don't know, maybe it was progressively building over the years and I didn't really notice. Or maybe it was just me drinking just a sheer amount of units that just made everything worse. But I just remember crippling panic attacks. I had one whilst driving over the Dartford Bridge and I almost just blacked out. I was stuck between two lorries going higher and higher and higher. Just my heart was beating. It just felt like I was going to die. And that started my fear of driving as well. Started a fear of everything. And then I had a panic attack whilst I was getting my hair cut in the barbers, just being trapped. So there's a string of like panic attacks all related to like car vehicles and being trapped and being stuck at traffic lights, dual carriageways, anything where it felt like I was trapped would just instill just terror and anxiety. And that started to create more of a trapping feeling. Like I didn't really go out anymore. I didn't really leave my flat that much anymore because I was scared. I'd have to piece together the route of where I was going to avoid like major busy bits. I'd have to really plan it out and think, which is something I never used to do. I'd just get in my car and drive. Like I was starting to lose my grip on reality. I was starting to, I don't know, just become useless, absolutely useless. I was like, I can't get in my car, I can't drive anywhere because I'm scared I'm going to have a panic attack. And I've had a couple of panic attacks. I had one whilst I was a passenger on the way back from Wales, and it was almost like I had a seizure. It was almost, I was drinking a lot over the weekend, just absolutely caning it. Loads of Henry Wessons, loads of beers, loads of wine, eating just shit because we were going out to like restaurants and stuff, but just a massive panic attack. Had to get the car to pull over, and yeah, it's just sort of literally felt like I was going to die in there. I can't explain the terror unless you've had a panic attack. Like honestly, it just felt awful. And it was at that point I was like, right, I need to sort this out. I need to sort the anxiety out. So I did a good period of 90 days sober, but then eventually crept back in. And then I'd sort of go on and off for a bit, had a breakup, so I went a bit off the walls again, but I was managing everything. There was still anxiety and panic, but I was managing it. It felt okay. It wasn't great, it wasn't solved, but it was sort of all right. And then I sort of went off the rails again, went a bit crazy, but nothing ever that bad. A few panic attacks here and there. I still have to think about my driving because just this weird entrapment feeling. And then COVID came along, and then as a chef I was furloughed, so I was kind of just stuck at home with no responsibilities. So what would you do if you were me and you like drinking? So I just ended up spending all of COVID just pretty much drunk. Had a good couple of months off, paid for work. I spent the whole time just getting smashed. And at this point I sort of had a wake-up call. Had a wake-up call where I was like, right, I need to do something about this. If I go back to work after wasting all this time off and I'm not fit and healthy, I'm a fat piece of shit, because that's how I felt at that point, and I looked awful, then I'm just going to be really annoyed with myself. I'm just going to be so pissed off. But that took a while for that to happen, because I was just drinking every single night, pretty much blacking out at this point, chasing like mixers. I'd have these dirty pints of spirits. Literally, I'd just fill it up 3/4 of the way with spirits, and then a little bit of like soda or lemonade. Just down those at the end of the night, trying to chase that tipsy buzz. And I think one day I woke up so hungover that I had like 4 or 5 strong beers, a can of tomato soup, had a nap, and I woke up from that and I was like, right, fuck this. I need to change. I can't keep going on like this. My partner, she's already mentioned it. She says if I don't stop drinking, she's going to leave me. So that's one wake-up call. And just looking at myself in the mirror, just looking at who I was, what I was doing, it's just not me, man. It just wasn't me. All the hopes and dreams and plans I had, it just wasn't me. I had to change at this point. I was the fattest I've ever been. My finances were fucked. I looked like shit. Relationships were all fucked. I had no purpose. I was just waking up, playing World of Warcraft and just drinking. I was just a complete degenerate at this point. So that was more or less day one, sort of. I just woke up and I was like, all right, I'm just going to get through this, not drink anymore, and just crack on. And that was more or less it. I was just so sick of who I was, sick of where I was. The thought of just getting to my deathbed and spending my whole life as an alcoholic it just disgusted me. It disgusted me. And it was more or less that, snap, instant. I was just sick of it. I was sick of it. And that's pretty much my story, but I'll go into more of the mindset behind it, what actually helped me change, and a few other bits. All right, here it is, 10 simple actionable steps that help kickstart my sobriety and that I use now to maintain it. I've got a few notes over there, so if I'm looking away, I'm just reading my notes. I just don't want to forget anything and make sure I provide as much value as possible. So number one is just tracking your sobriety daily. Count every single day. Build momentum. It's powerful to see those numbers stack up. And you want to celebrate the little wins. If you can get through just one day at a time without drinking, that's massive. It's such a big win. Don't downplay anything. These little wins all add up, and celebrate them whenever you can. Leads me on to number two, which is just get through one day at a time. Don't overthink next month. Don't think about next year. Don't think about, oh, maybe I'll have a drink when I've sorted everything out. Don't even think about that. Just win the next 24 hours. And I find that helps with a lot of things, whether it's anxiety, whether it's panic, whether it's worry. I sort of just take a minute and just take a little breath and just go, right, all I've got to do is get through this next 10 seconds, this 30 seconds, this minute, this 5 minutes, and then maybe it's an hour, then maybe it's 2 hours, and then maybe it's the end of the day. And then, you know, these things don't last forever, and you just need to remind yourself, nothing lasts forever. And then by the time I get to the end of the day, I go to sleep, it's a reset, it's a new day. That's how I live now. I live a lot more in the present. I try not to think about the future too much, trying to think about the past. All of these are irrelevant. Now, it's great to have goals and plans, but just get through each 24 hours, win the day. That's the main thing. Number three, replace alcohol with alternatives. Things like sparkling water, nice herbal teas, especially chamomile ones, things like that, which can have a calming effect on the brain, especially placebo. Like if I sit down with a nice big cup of chamomile tea, I know it's calming, therefore it's already calming me down a bit. Sweets, chocolate bars, things like that can help massively as well, especially in the beginning, because you will be just lacking a lot of sugar from the alcohol. So replacing these things, and that helps disrupt the old patterns. So what I used to do is just sit down at the end of work and just chug loads of beer, just chug it. So I do the same now, just with maybe ginger beer or sparkly water. Now everything's a lot more controlled now because I'm 5 years sober. I don't necessarily have the same cravings, but I still just chug liquid like a madman. So just replacing things with things that are kinder for you. And don't worry too much in the beginning about eating a load of sweets and eating a load of chocolate. Just be kind to yourself. Just what's going to be better, eating a bag of sweets or having 4 cans of beer? Obviously the sweets, isn't it? So just look after yourself. Number 4, a few supplements that have helped me in the beginning. L-theanine, it's what's in green tea. It's the calming element of green tea. Helps work on GABA a little bit. Now it's not gonna massively change anything, but it will just take the edge off a little bit. Same with magnesium glycinate. I use that before I go to sleep. It just helps calm, helps with sleep, helps with mood, helps with stress. And ashwagandha is something else I started taking quite a lot in the beginning, especially the KSM 666, which has got clinically proven trials. That's for anxiety, that's for mood. It lowers cortisol, lowers stress, and just helped. These things combined just helped. Just take the edge off everything. 5, eat big meals. Now the thing is, when I was full, the desire to drink was a lot less intense. It blunted the cravings. For me, my favourite thing to do would be to sink a Henry Weston's, which is a 8.2% cider, on an empty stomach and get that buzz. If I'm full, it almost felt pointless drinking. If I'm not going to get drunk, what's the point in drinking? So I found just trying to stay full more often than not just helped blunt the cravings. Like I said, what's the point in drinking if you're not going to get drunk? So just eat more, try and eat more regularly. Whereas I think when you drink a lot, you try not to. I wake up and didn't really fancy anything. I feel sick. I feel anxious. I wouldn't eat anything. And then I maybe stretch it out for most of the day, nibble on a few bits, and then smash a beer on an empty stomach. And then I'd eat a load of crap after that. So just eat more throughout the day. Try and stay full. It helps massively. Number 6, go for walks daily. Move your body. Get out in fresh air. It clears your head and it lifts your mood, especially When I started going out early in the morning with my dog, I'd just get that initial amount of sunlight, the birds chirping, the trees, just nature. It's a good grounding experience, and it really sets up my day. It gives me time just to think, time just to be present, enjoy nature, and just builds up a bit of routine. And then I go for another dog walk later. So I think sometimes if I was feeling cravings, I'll just go for a walk. I'll just get out, I'll disrupt the pattern. And that's what a lot of these things are. It's disrupting that pattern and that routine and creating your own new routine. Number 7 was journaling every day. Every single day I wrote down how I felt, what I was learning, what I was grateful for, what my issues were, anything that was going bad that I could fix. It became like my therapy. It's not all wishy-washy like Dear Diary, this kind of stuff. I'd write down what time I wake up, how I felt when I woke up, what I wanted to do that day, whether I was feeling anxious, whether I had panic attacks, maybe my thoughts, maybe some feelings down there. I remember I kept a lot of a log from different stints of sobriety. So when I did my first 90-day sobriety, my brain, like the anxiety and the panic, it just felt like I had to relearn how to do a lot of simple tasks like driving and like reassuring myself I was okay in these situations. And I wrote down stuff like it was me reteaching my brain how to do stuff. So I use it as just getting the stuff out of my brain onto paper. It helped me process how I was feeling a lot more. So I would start journaling every day. It really did help me. 8, clear out all the alcohol from your space. If it's not there, you can't drink it, basically. It's a simple no-brainer. There's no just in case bottles. Just spring clean your environment, get rid of everything. In the beginning, I never really had much around because I'd buy it and then drink it because I knew if I had it, I'd just drink all of it. But my partner, I was like, let's just get rid of everything. Like, I'm really making a go at this. Let's just get rid of it all so it's not in the house. And that just makes a big difference. And then number 9, build a replacement habit or project. So that addictive energy you and I have, we need to channel it into something. And my goal was always to be sort of financially free and like build my own business or something like that. And that's why I started going. I started building side hustles. I started doing this. I started building websites. I started doing YouTube videos. I started a candle brand. I was doing Amazon FBA, and then I wanted to build my own sort of legacy and a bit of a brand. So starting a little candle business, it gave me purpose. It gave me somewhere to direct that energy. And I spent all my time learning how to make the best candle, learning how to market it, learning how to package it, all of this stuff. And then instead of finishing work and go and have a drink, I'll be like, right, now I'm going to go work on my candle business because I want to make more money, I want to make more sales, I want to learn how to do this. And then that became my new addiction. Like self-improvement is now my addiction. Trying to be better than I was before is my new addiction. And same with fitness. I've channeled all of my energy into fitness now. All of that addictive energy needs to be channeled somewhere. So find a purpose, find a project, find something, doesn't matter what it is, and just go all in on that. It could be improving your relationship with your kids, spending more time with them. And whatever you do, just do it and be present. That will just help massively. And then number 10 is just understanding alcohol for what it really is and what it's doing to you. It's not relaxing you, it's robbing you of your potential. You get temporary escapism, but when you wake up, everything is worse. It just makes everything bad. It just takes away, it just constantly takes away. It's insidious the way alcohol creeps up on you. And before you know it, it's taken everything. Some people, it's too late before it's taken everything away. So the quicker and sooner you can start looking at alcohol in a different way, the better. And for me, alcohol was blocking my path to the life I actually wanted. It blocked everything. All of these side hustles, all of these fitness projects, all of my relationships, everything else, alcohol got in the way because I was never really present. I was always looking for that next drink, or when I was really hungover, I'd be so anxious. All I'd be thinking about is, am I going to have a panic attack? Am I going to have a panic attack? I was never really there because my mind was always on something else. So it's worth taking some time to understand what alcohol does, how it works, and how it is just ruining your life. And I'm sure most of us are aware of this if you've watched this video so far. So yeah, those are the 10 steps that I used to kickstart everything and what I still use now. And if anything I've said hit home with you and you're ready for a change, I'd love to help. I'm not here to sell you some magical fix, but I can guide you through what's worked for me, walk you through the steps. So there's a link down below if you're serious about turning things around. And that is basically it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope some of it resonates with you. And that's my story. I'm going to be making way more videos about this subject. I really want to just be a light amongst men and help as many people as possible kick booze, build a better life, and just do and be something they can be proud of. So yeah, hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.